Okay, the next step in CFOP is the O, which stands for orient, the last layer. So this is our last layer. I do a 2-look right now, which means you normally will have 2 steps, unless you happen to have the cross. So I've labeled these moves here R1, 2, 3, 4, meaning these are required memorization, in my opinion, to do basic CFOP. Actually, on this case, if I have the L shape, I move it to the upper left like so. And I don't even remember where I learned that. Possibly when I was curious about the beginner's method before I learned CFOP or something like that. I learned how to do that L. If you have the single centerpiece, then I do this same sequence as the L, and then basically do it twice, which is what they have here. Now you notice they have something, or the same. You could do either. You could do the same sequence as the straight line or the L, and then it'll set up one of the others. Basically, is what it amounts to. So really, there's just, I mark that as required, but that's not required because that's already that's already finished. So these should all be one less. So really, it's 3 things to move. Now I put it. Here's the way I do it. My notation up here for the L shape, because I swing it around. It's almost the same. You'll notice these have a lot of symmetry in them. It's just that I do a big F instead of a little f. And I don't think I mentioned yet, but this cheat sheet has the notations down here. So like R is a clockwise move of the right side. U is a clockwise move when you're facing it of the upper layer. Big F is the front. And then the little letter is like little f means you move two rows. So for example, when you're looking face on, a big F is a clockwise move of the front, and a little f is a clockwise move like this of 2 rows. So that's what that means. So given that, I'm going to do my first look is my R1 here, and I'm going to use my method. So I put it in the upper thing and do F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. And that gives me a cross, a yellow cross. It gives me this also, that doesn't matter. So that's the first part of the first look of the orient step. The second part is this, and these are all basically required. I've numbered it R5 through R12. Since this is actually 3, we'll call this R4 through R11. Sorry about that. So I've memorized all these. Now, like I said, I first learned the Petrus method, and I actually do this one differently. I move the yellow corner into, I always put the, I think I may have written this wrong. Okay, sorry, I got confused on what I do. I always put, from the Petrus method, I basically learned these two as inverses of each other. And so I didn't actually learn the notation even at that time. And so I just do this. Basically, you put the front-facing edge here of the yellow towards that side and do it this way. Or if it's on the other way, then you do it inverse. So I've written that down here. Based on this picture, I would do a Y, which means to rotate the whole cube, and then do these moves. Let me just show you that, because I think that's what I got here in my sample solve. It is exactly what I got. So this is a perfect example. This is what they show. You see where the yellows are? I've got this case here that I was talking about. So the yellows are corners are there, and there, and the solid one is up here. So for this case, I do a Y move. I just rotate it, and then I do these moves, which to me are just symmetry. I never actually even memorized the notation on this. So you do it like that. and that's it. So, but again, these are some of the sequences so that you do need to memorize, and you can recognize these different sequences. I do the little arrows here because there's a lot of symmetry. I kind of learn these together and learn these together because, like, for example, these are the same, except for you do your big F in the beginning instead of the end. So those are pretty easy. So at the end of that step, you'll have your bottom two layers, and your top layer will be all yellow, and your corners and edges will be messed up.